Glad you are here in person and online. We are an open and inclusive liberal faith organization. Our members follow diverse paths to find meaning and purpose. We are united by our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all and the responsibility to express our faith through acts of justice and compassion. My name is Lynn Henderson, and I've been a member since 2010. I'd like to welcome any visitors who are here today with us. And if you feel comfortable doing so, if you'd like to stand and tell us your name and a little bit about what brought you here today. We have any visitors? I guess there are no strangers among us. Please, everyone, stay around, gather in the lobby, if you will, after the service, and you'll get a chance to meet more of the members, and that will give folks a chance to reset the room here. We begin our service with lighting the chalice. Please say the words in your order of service as we do so. We light this flaming chalice to illuminate the world we seek. In our search for truth, may we be just. In our search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find peace. Our speaker today is one of our members, Jane Pope, and she has our opening words, and I'll tell you a little bit more about her as we go along.
It's a quote from Ram Dass. Whether this is the first day of the apocalypse or the first day of the golden age, our work remains the same: to love each other and ease as much suffering as possible.
Good news, good news. Our musician today is McAlister, and we will now enter into a time of contemplation with a musical reflection. Well, let's try this again. Come on, you aren't dead, are you? Yeah, hope you're not dead. You better not be dead. We have another one. He's dead. Sorry. Well, the other one's in the box over there, so sorry.
We'll think of this as left.
We'll think of it as brightly shining. Jane McAlister Pope, our he's taking away our light. Jane McAlister Pope spent most of her career as an editor at the Charlotte Observer, and I'm sure from that she learned patience and perseverance. She is also an excellent musician and plays Celtic harp. Some of you have had an opportunity to hear her. And she has been a member of our congregation since 2024. And today she will speak to us and give her thoughts on something that I feel sure has been on the minds of a lot of us. And that is life after doom. Is there a way forward, and what might that way be? So please welcome Jane Pope.
You got a light.
Let there be light.
Let there be light, yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Usually, when I speak, I present my own ideas, for better or worse. Today, I'm relying heavily on insights from a book I just read, Life After Doom, Wisdom and Courage for a World Falling Apart. I recommend it. It was written by Brian McLaren, a writer, activist, former minister, and someone I've met at a couple of conferences over the years. Brian wrote this book while contemplating the future we face because of global warming, a terrifying future that could even mean the extinction of humanity. And that's not our only worry, is it? I won't bring down this lovely day with the latest headlines, but events since the book's publication just last year have left even more of us with a sense of impending doom. You read it online, you hear it in conversations with friends, and sometimes it appears in the most unexpected places. Just this past Thursday, I was driving my grandkids home from school when 6-year-old Kaylee cried out from the back seat, "We're doomed!" Say, what? Have our fears trickled down to kindergartners? Is this what they discuss on the playground? Why do you think we're doomed? I asked. Well, a friend of mine was cursed by a zombie leprechaun today, but that's not why. Zombie leprechaun. Okay, apparently she hadn't been watching the news. But if that's not why, then why are we doomed? Well, it turned out that her brother Isaac had designed a new insect for a school assignment. His colorful bug comes with a long stinger, and if it stings you, I was told, you die exactly 16 hours later. It will kill our entire family, she said. Now, here's the insect, in case you were wondering. So, what can we do if we're doomed? I asked. Run away, of course, she said. But don't worry, Grandma, it's not real. And I have to admit, I was envious. Our problems are all too real. You've heard of PTSD, of course, post-traumatic stress disorder. The sense of doom, Brian says, is a kind of pre-traumatic stress disorder. It arises when our old normal is deteriorating and no new normal has come into view. The present is chaotic, the future dangerous. The earth shakes under our feet. It might feel natural to despair, but despair paralyzes us, sends us hiding under the covers while the world collapses around us. And anger can lead those who care most about what's happening to mirror the violence they oppose, hastening our descent as a civilization. Even hope can be dangerous if it causes us to serenely assert that everything will be okay in the end, no matter what we do or don't do, that progress is inevitable, that our leaders will always do the right thing. That's been kind of shaky lately. That Jesus will come in glory, throw bad people into the lake of fire, and fix all our follies. As a friend of mine noted recently, we're going to need a bigger lake. That kind of hope tempts people to stop resisting, or worse, attempt to bring about Armageddon. Some of our leaders want to do that, and that's scary. So what's left to us? How can we deal with doom if not by closing our eyes in hope or despair, or by lashing out in anger? First, open your eyes. Before you act or react, you must clearly see what is threatening the soul of this country and the life of this planet. Learn what you can from reputable sources. Discern the difference between presidential overreach and zombie leprechauns. Now, opening your eyes sounds easy, but it's not. It leads you to grieve what has already been lost and what might soon disappear. It floods your awareness with ugly reality, exposes you to the worst of human nature. That's why you need, as Brian puts it, to invite a poet to sit to your left and a songwriter to your right. Surround yourself with beauty, weaving poetry and song into liturgies of lament and love. Artists can transform ugliness and find meaning in what seems meaningless. Where'd Mike go? Thanks. The second step is even more difficult. Stop clinging to a specific outcome. Change is coming, change is inevitable, and much of it will be out of your individual control. Let it be. This doesn't mean passive resignation. It means mindfully letting go of the future despite what you clearly see is happening, and instead living now in the present moment. Meditation can be a big help with this. Okay, so here we are in this present moment. What can we do? Brian writes that when torn between hope and despair, we should choose the one thing that matters above all else. Is that hope? Despair? No, it's love. If you wonder what action to take, do whatever kindness is before you. When our prime motive is love instead of outcome, we can find the courage and confidence to step into the unknown. Because even Even if all is hopeless, even if hope flees and never returns, we will be living by love. We can resolve to live as beautifully, as bravely, and as kindly as we can for as long as we can, no matter how ugly, scary, and mean the world becomes, even if failure and death seem inevitable. Brian writes this: during times of doom, many people are sucked into a black hole of shared, mutually confirming stupidity. Some become blamers, shamers, thieves, thugs, criminals, vigilantes, terrorists, traitors, escapists, hoarders, panic-stricken crybabies, cultic conspiracy theorists, scammers, or craven cowards. Others become heroes, saints, resistors, martyrs, organizers, problem solvers, protectors, community builders, non-anxious presences, leaders, healers, and old-fashioned good neighbors. There may be times when we have to make our way alone, but finding or forming a little huddle of just 2 or 3 or 5 or 50 can make all the difference. Welcome to the Lake Norman Unitarian Huddle. See? Individually and in our huddles, we can work together to resist misinformation, to take a stand against scapegoating, and to pursue strength of character. We can reject both the dependence on dictators and the independence of survivalism, and instead develop interdependence. We can speak up with courage and grace and face changes with agility. We can discover new depths of the human spirit, seeking the common core of spiritual traditions, reconnecting with nature, becoming more centered in ourselves and in our universe. Then each of you, each of us, can lovingly discern what is yours to do and do it with all your heart. Historian Howard Zinn points out that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. He says, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. This book has a lot more to offer, including practical steps you can take in your dance with doom, helpful resources, tips on how to have courageous conversations, and advice on how to talk about these difficult issues with children. Today, I focused on what struck me the most, that our way forward can only come through love. As Brian wrote, whatever happens to civilization as we know it, you and I can find and do what is ours to do right now and shine as magnificently as we can right now, each year that we're given, each day we're awake, each breath that we take. We don't need to know the plan in advance. We just need to walk our path. In the walking step by step, the way will unfold like tendrils reaching out from 1 billion branches seeking light. The ultimate destination? That is beyond both our control and our capacity to know. So here we are, savoring this gift of this day, in this life, in these times, waking up in the unfolding mystery. And that is gift enough here and now.
Thank you.
Now we're going to talk back. Now talk back. And now's the time when we will do our talk back. Anyone who has thoughts, reflections on what we've just heard from Jane, please come up and speak into our multi microphones here and tell us your thoughts. Anyone?
I'm Jim. I'm an optimist. I've never really understood what the phrase "is the glass half empty or half full" meant. Maybe somebody could explain that to me after the service. Then someone said it depends if you're drinking or pouring, but I'm not sure what that means. But I am an optimist, and per your author, and if we think of what was said, I think we're headed in the right direction. 100 years ago, we were kind of in the geographic center of the Jim Crow South. I went to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade in Jackson, Mississippi. I remember asking my parents, why couldn't Greg and I use the same bathrooms or the same water fountain? Didn't make sense, did it? It doesn't. It never did. Martin Luther King had a famous quote that the tract is always towards justice, and in the end, justice will win. One of the strongest thinkers of our time. And it is tough to do the right thing. But if you're unsure of what comes next or what you need to do, I think we want to think, what would our friends, our spouses, the people we admire, the people whose books we read, how would they approach a problem? That will solve us and point us in the right direction. So I think we're moving in the right direction. It's going to take some time. And one of the best quotes of the Biden administration is when he said, describing the writing on the Statue of Liberty, and the phrase that ends with "standing by the pearly gate." It's a work in progress, and our job is to lead the way and to help other people with a hand up, not a handout. So thank you for sharing that reflection, Jane.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here. I don't want to be here because I have a true confession. I went to the protest yesterday, and there was a woman driving around the corner in a shiny red car, red hat, finger in the air, and boy, did she trigger me. She triggered the angry tiger in me. And we were all supposed to line up, 80 of us along the green grass, and oh my gosh, I just ripped out of that line, and I was ready to go into the traffic, and I was so passionate and so angry, and so I went back to the line, and the women, I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to me. And the woman next to me was very kind and said, you just have a lot of passion, and I sure do. And one of the organizers came down the line, and she looked at me in such a wonderful principal kind of voice because she was a principal of a school. And she said, we're supposed to stay on, off the grass, and we're not supposed to go chasing cars. and I said to her, I'm a retired teacher and I totally get that. And so within about 15 minutes, I calmed myself down. I knew it was inappropriate, but the tiger in me I was just so angry. Like, I'm fighting for the children. I'm fighting for public education. I'm fighting for, this to end. And so I went down to the principal and I said, this reminds me of when we would have a runner at school. There was always a special code about a runner, some child that had to run out of the classroom, go through the doors, go through the outside door, and start running, and that's how I felt. And I just said, I was a runner. I had a run yesterday, and we could laugh at it. We could look at each other, and I felt, okay, so maybe, but really in terms of what I'm connecting to is, I have these feelings, and they're very deep, and they're very, demanding right now. And love is an action, and I need to put my anger, I need to, I'm trying to, mix it up and bring it into an action that is sensible and calm and, constructive and community. And so when I'm with this line, I don't want to be that outline that starts chasing the woman in the red car, but I do have that, and it is hard for me. And this is why I come to the UU. This is why I'm up here, because I come here because we can talk about reality, the reality that's going on outside in the world, and there's also a reality going on within ourselves. And to be able to connect to both of those, and to bring it together in a way to love myself and to love others, that's why I come here. I really do, because every week there's, like Mike last week when he said his wife suggested, maybe you need to turn off the news, because whatever I feed my feelings, it's kind of a Buddhist concept, like what feelings am I feeding? And so, I have that anger, but I want to feel the joy. I want to feed it. I want to feed the community. I want to feed the, being unified with other people that are loving and kind and are out there. And we were out there, and it was a great feeling to be accepted, even though I, really had a lot of anger. And that woman in the red car had a lot of anger. And I recognized that, like we were both triggering each other. So thank you for your time. And that's why I do come here, because I feel safe that we can do it all and still strive for that loving attitude towards our community. Thank you.
Well, if we're confessing, there is a Tesla Cybertruck that is always in the pickup line at my grandkids' school. And it used to be every time I'd see it, I wanted to either make a hand gesture or throw paint on it, but I restrained myself. And so, but I just this weekend got a bumper sticker that says "Troublemaker," red, wine, and blue. And my goal now is to be one time at least right in front of the Cybertruck in line. I just want my message.
Jim's on his way.
Sue assured me the red car wasn't her. She's on this team. Okay, I'll try to be brief, but if ever there was a time that called for patience, I think it's now. Because a lot of people who voted for the guy whose name you didn't mention, but everybody was thinking of, people are beginning to realize what they voted for. And so maybe we just should be patient and let that work itself out. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that your comments and your presentation lends itself so strongly to mindfulness. Live for today. Let's don't worry about whether the world will be doomed tomorrow or next week or next year or whenever. Let's just enjoy today. And somebody's already said, love each other and be here and be good Unitarians and good people.
Well, we're doing confessions, so several speakers ago was into the situation of friendship and friendship with Trumpers and how to deal with that. And I shared that Jim and I have a great pleasure of having 2 or more young couples that seem to be attracted to us for whatever reason. It might be the beer in the refrigerator under the magnolia tree, whenever, but they bring their own beer tomorrow. I will say that. But anyway, there is one couple that we're very close to for years, and they're just turned 40. They have 2 kids. We were there with birth and all that other stuff. And they are Trumpers, and she's in the medical community. And as I shared then, is not vaccinated and so forth. So it's everything that could go wrong as far as what we believe with people that we love and adore being with us and will do anything for us. That's been a struggle. My husband Jim, decided that he just couldn't be around them anymore. Now they have moved to a farm down the road, so they aren't across the street any longer, but they've asked us to a couple of events, and Jim said, I can't do it. Thankfully, I honestly, sincerely had something else to do that I had previously committed to. So I could say, I'm not going to be in town, or I have somewhere else to be, and it was honest. But I did send food for one event, and I needed presents for the other, and I decided to deliver that and had a delightful conversation, of course, with her. And then we've been talking about this stuff of trying to maneuver through this muck that we have of choosing sides and doing that. So just the other day, when I delivered the thing, we hugged and, wish you could stay. Now I got to get home, Jim. And I'm not going to ignore them. I don't want them out of my life, our life. I just can't turn it off. Now, I don't know whether I'm being unfaithful or whatever, but honest to goodness, they are good people. And for the life of us, we don't know why they believe what they do. They have wonderful children. Their parents went to our condo. I offered it to them a few weeks ago because they hadn't been on a vacation together in decades by themselves. They were so overwhelmed. He's not a Trumper, she is. But I'm okay with it. I had to make a decision. So it may not be that we actively invite him to the farm any longer because, Jim Phil, but that relationship is going to continue for me. I'm not going to lose it. Maybe that's disrespectful.
I was in a meeting a couple of years ago with Brian. And I love the way he handled conflict. If somebody disagreed with him, he would say, "Oh, I see it differently."
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I think he mentions that in the book.
That's a good one.
Hi, my name's Lily. I've only been here about 4 or 5 times since I think last October, but this is a very interesting topic because of the times that we're in, and something that the presenter or the commentator 2 people ago made me want to come up here. I came to UU looking for a left-leaning space in Mooresville, where I live. And that's because I've done a lot of work in revolutionary spaces. And a lot of revolutionary spaces are plagued with the concept of doomerism. The fact that you go across so many problems, you keep coming across people that need more help, more problems, and people keep getting in your way. You're not sure if those people are evil or not when you get in front of them. Very interesting that there was a small protest. I've been a part of a lot of protests, and I've spoken with a lot of fascistic individuals, from Trump supporters, very milquetoast conservatives, to very violent, very assured fascist people. And I'd encourage all of you, especially since I see most of you are older and white and connected in your communities, to stay connected with your friends that are drifting into the right if they're on that milquetoast conservative side. Sometimes only you can reach them. Sometimes I can't reach them. I have pink hair, okay? I can't reach them. People who have been traumatized by them like their children cannot reach them. Sometimes it's only you. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me speak.
I just got to add, the main thing that you brought up, or one of the main things, was love. The whole way to deal with all of this doom and everything else that we're seeing is to be in the present, but mindful of love. Love in the terms of people who come to you, these young people, looking for that kind of guidance. That's why people do that. Even though we may have differences, God, think about the arguments that we've had with our parents. Differences, you know. You should be doing this. Nah, that's bad. That's not right. Over here. Big arguments, right? Differences. But love is what brings everything together and holds us all moving in the right direction. Far more people who are interested in preserving democracy, preserving the beauty of America that we've all grown up with, that are looking at, a bunch of people elected Trump, and they're surprised at what we're getting, and they are turning and saying, hey, how are we going to get through this? How are we going to get through this? Love is going to be a major part of it, and sharing our love with those that we have this difference with. These young people coming along, even some old people, still looking for love.
Hello, I'm Kelsey. I have a lot of anxiety, so I'm going to make it really quick. But speaking about the doom, I've been a part of the Friday Action Hour now for a while, kind of like in the background with my camera off and my mic off, just observing and everything. And I feel like it's been very helpful with the doom, having like a list of things to do each week in that community. My family is very homophobic, and I am queer, and it's just nice to have a space of loving people, you know, that are open and not so far right. So thanks for having me.
Well, I have family members, and Bruce has more than I do, who are Trumpers. And it's just sort of an unspoken rule in my family that when we're all together, nobody speaks of politics, and nobody says the name of he who shall not be named. We just don't do it. It's agreed upon, and it had been agreed upon in Bruce's family. But one of his aunts passed away last week. She was 95, and we went down to South Carolina to her funeral, and afterwards people gathered at one of the relatives' homes. And he had an uncle there. Now, of course, there were probably maybe, I would say, 25 or 30 people there. And of those 25 or 30, I would tend to say there may have been 7 of us who were on the side that most of us are on. So we're surrounded. And one of his uncles decided that this would be, and one of his aunts decided that this would be an ideal time to bring up what was going on in the administration. And the aunt began this by saying to the uncle, now the aunt is a Democrat, and she says to the rabid uncle, "What do you think of Elon Musk?" And it was on. And two people who were sitting in our little group got up and walked off, and just saying, we can't deal with it. I tried to just say what I know, what I feel to be the truth, just as whenever Reverend Ed said, I see it differently. And after about maybe 10 or 12 minutes, we weren't getting anywhere. But there was only two things that we agreed on. The rabid uncle agreed, and I did too, that both houses, both parties in Congress are now useless. Not enough is being done. Too many people are just forgetting what their jobs were and are not doing their jobs. And we agreed on that. And then as we got up to leave, he came over and he gave me a hug and he said, "We don't agree, but I still love you." And I said, I hardly know the man, but I agreed with what he was saying anyway. And I said, "Yes, we still love you." So it was a good lesson in try to bring it back to love. And there's some people on that rabid scale who you'll never get through to, no matter what you do. Or whether you come in love or peace or come down from the clouds, you'll never get through them. They will never admit a mistake has been made in any way. The only other, I'm not an optimist like Jim expressed. I never have been. I'm more of a realist. I think that whatever can go wrong probably will. But my sense in thinking of what Kim shared, the sense that I get that is so hard for me to deal with is the lack of justice. Things are being taken away from so many people by so few, and they're not coming back. If they come back, it'll be a long, long time, and the things that were holding these things in place will be broken. And they've taken things away, such as safety nets, as you all well know. They also have taken away the feeling among people who are middle class or upper middle class. Among many of us, we feel like life is on hold. We cannot travel. Canada is even advising people. I know some folks now who did an event in Canada, are trying to get back to the U.S., and they're being advised, don't scrub your phone. They're checking your phone when you get to the U.S. side, looking for anything that you may have said or watched that was against Trump or Musk. And they're advising people, before she went there, she was advised by the Canadian counterparts, bring a burner phone, leave your own phone at home, or mail it to yourself through FedEx or something. But don't go into the U.S. again with that phone, because it's happening. So we feel we can't travel, we can't move forward in things we'd planned for our lives because we're just kind of on hold. And to me, that's just a terrible miscarriage of justice. So I haven't yet run out into traffic, but I may. I don't run as fast as I used to, but I may. But that's where I'm stuck, is it's so unjust that so few can harm so many.
Yes. And I would just like to gratefully say that I lucked out with my family. And when my brothers and I get together, we plan the revolution.
Anyone else? Thank you, Jane, and everybody who shared. We appreciate it. This fellowship is important to us all. No, we had another reflection. We have more music. And then we will talk about the importance of our basket as it passes its way around.
I sympathize with Mary. I almost feel guilty because I had a good week playing in Nashville and Saluda and Greensboro the other night, and really great, inclusive people. But I have a lot of friends that play music, and we don't agree on the same things, and it's very difficult. But yeah, I'm trying not to. But I'm trying to not disinclude those people from my life. I lost my cape. Clear winds blow down this road ahead, but the path is weary thin. Twisted branches, they block the sky, and the true light won't come in. No, the true light can't come in. Stop in your tracks, my friend. Did they hold your hope on a wind? Did they take your part, forsake your heart? Now the true light won't come in. But you know they say there's just one way, but it's a long way out if you're looking to roll. Leave your fears behind and the tears that blind. May your true light shine again. Let your true light shine again. You recall when we were young, fields were flush in the spring. Water flowed down the hills of gold, and the bells of love would ring. Now the road, it turns and divides, but it's you, only you, who decides. Let the lights grow cold and your love unfold. Let your true light shine again. You know it's true, it's up to you, but it's a long way out if you're looking to roam. Leave your fears behind and the tears that lie. Let your true light shine again. Let your true light shine again. Let your true light shine again.
Is that an original?
Yes, I wrote that during the first
I think I'm losing my skirt.
The first administration of the orange person. Who shall not be
Yes,
named.
He shall
This
not be
mic
named.
isn't working anymore. I don't
Okay.
know why. We lost
Okay.
the Bluetooth. Come back,
Okay, come back, look through.
come back.
This fellowship is important to us all. Your contributions today, both here and at home, if you can switch over to our webpage for a moment, you'll find ways to donate from home. And these contributions allow us to sustain and grow our congregation and continue to reach out into our community, both nearby and in the larger area. Your giving affirms our commitment to each other and to the community. Thank you. Thank you for these gifts. May they allow us to continue forward with our goals and grow our congregation. Would you look with me now at the announcements in your bulletin? We'll have a social supper as we do every week, and everybody's invited, everyone. Linda, do you know where?
Yeah, we're gonna go to McAlister's at Cornelius.
Okay, McAlister's in, I'm wrong, Mike. McAlister's in, McAlister's in Cornelius will be the day they will be there for social supper. Movie Tuesdays, there are a couple coming up that I noticed in the bulletin that look really good. The Penguin Lessons is getting a lot of really great reviews. A man has befriended, not entirely of his own free will, but he's befriended a penguin. And that will be at Birkdale at 12:40, and then Audrey's Children at 12:35. And either let Linda know you're coming or just show up to one of those. And it follows, afterwards will be a snack time and time to talk about the movies and all the rest of what's happening in the world.
They're both the same amount of time, so we'll get out within 5 minutes of each other.
Okay, great.
So,
The next round of Feed In See will be coming up on Thursday. April the 13th is a Saturday. No, it's a Sunday. I know because I have to be somewhere. But contact Jim Arnold if you want to join that crew to help out. I understand that most of the time more volunteers are needed. So put that on your calendar. The next litter pickup will be on Saturday, April 22nd. From 9:30 to 11, and that's on Concord Road. And Jim will also be lining up volunteers for that. We have a stretch of Concord Road that we have our signage on, and we go out periodically and pick up litter along that road.
What was that date?
That is
It's
April 20,
Saturday the 19th.
Saturday the 19th, yeah.
And when is Feed and See?
Feed In
The second
See,
Thursday of the month.
the second Thursday of the month, whatever that may be.
April 10th.
April 10th, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Next Sunday, Reverend Pat will be back with us, and he will talk about how subtle differences can make very important things happen for good or ill. Things that 1 minute everything is moving in one direction, and then wham, it's changed quickly. So we witnessed some of that, and Pat will talk about that in connection with us witnessing the differences that come about with spring. And also next week, the kids have been hearing music today. They've been hearing from George Boehm and Eddie Gunn about music. But next week, and Doug Wall. Yeah, that's right. And I thought he was missing. Next week, Veronique Singerman and Sylvia Abney will talk with the kids about birds and why they matter to the environment. And this is a great time of year to be doing that. So bring your kids, invite grandkids, nieces, nephews, whomever may be coming along. All righty. Our closing song for, yeah, Karen?
I had, one or two people say, do we have a directory? And we do have a directory. It is, you can get to it on Breeze Online, but I know a lot of people are not comfortable necessarily doing that. So I pulled the directory off from it, and I realized we're missing a lot of people's phone numbers, or just full information. And so I brought my list with me. If you'll help me, please, by stopping by on the way out and just looking at what I've got for you and saying, yeah, I'm good with that. And let me know if for any reason you're not comfortable with your name being on a list with somebody seeing your phone number. If you don't want your phone number, just tell me. But it'd be nice to be more complete in our records. So, yes.
Is the directory on the website?
You can access it if you're a member on the website because it is through the Breeze software. Okay. The other thing is we had people ask us last year. We realized we weren't sending out pledge reminders, so we are at March 31st, and this week I'm going to tackle pledge reminders. And you'll get an email saying, hey, this is what your pledge is for the current year. This is the amount of money that we've received. Thank you. And just letting you know where you are with that. Okay. If you get it and you go, wait a minute, that's not right, call me and let me know. You know, if you have somebody who's not done this before, so it will be an adventure. A little patience and we'll get it right. Okay.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, our closing song today is number 170. We are a gentle, angry people. And we run into traffic periodically to express that.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are the land of many colors. We are singing for our lives. We are living together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are gathered straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. are singing, singing for our lives.
And now Jane will have our closing words.
From poet Wendell Berry. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. Practice resurrection.
Thank you. Whoa, children are returning. Let me see what I have done with our. If you will please read the words in your bulletin as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Go in peace. This little thing either will work or it won't. I mean, you just